East Urban Renewal Agency in 1998. And that agency became the funding mechanism for the dreams and hopes and plans that we had created as a community. Our job was to listen, and listen some more, and then listen some more, and then listen some more. And that's what we did for the first year. We listened. We talked to every group, every agency, every governmental partner, every business partner that we could possibly think of. The Chamber of Commerce, again, the colleges, the state. We listened. We listened to the community of their hopes and dreams, and we created a plan. And we put that plan in motion. As Betsy said, then the main thing was to keep the main thing the main thing. Once you create a plan, you have to stick with it. And there are challenges, there are obstacles, there are mountains to climb. There are difficulties that none of us imagined. None of us imagined when we put this plan in place. We literally drove this city in a van with no air conditioning. Took out the back seat, put a card table and put chairs in it, sweat dripping off our noses, and drove around this city and created a plan. What would go here? What could we do here? How could we improve this? I wonder what this would look like if it were different. And put that plan in motion. We also knew that families were the most important unit in society, and we knew that we had to create this plan based upon what is good for families. Because when families succeed, we all succeed. Neighborhoods, cities, states. But when families fail, that failure lands directly on the doorstep of City Hall. It lands directly on the doorsteps of our schools and our colleges. It lands directly on the doorsteps of law enforcement agencies. And we didn't want that to happen. So we listened to the youth. And we decided to form a Mayor's Youth Advisory Council. There's been about 700 students go through that program in the past 24 years. And you heard a little bit about, thank you. It's been an amazing program. By the one that was up here that didn't speak, that was Lily, my granddaughter. She's on the executive committee of the Mayor's Youth Advisory, and she started when she was in the 8th grade. Bianca, who helped put this together, Bianca Stevenson, at the time, Bianca Mora. She went through the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council. She went with us to Washington, D.C. some 10, 12 years ago. And now she's the communications expert for the city of Caldwell. Isn't that awesome? I mean, that's the circle coming full. So we listened to the youth, and we wanted to work with them, and we made them a part of the decision-making process. And we had them involved in the Youth Master Plan. We had them involved in the Parks Master Plan. We had them involved in the YMCA. We involved our schools and our youth, and we listened. And they helped us create the vision that we're enjoying today. You know, there's a lot of things that fly under the radar that don't make the newspaper, that don't get talked about in State of the City addresses very often. But I would like to tell you a little story, if I may, about how important it is to change one life at a time. We were in a Mayor's Youth Advisory Council meeting. This young man walked in and sat in the back of the room. Came in about 10 minutes late, got up and left about 10 minutes before the meeting was over. And nobody really even had a chance to say hi. And by the way, I really messed up. Thank you for the beautiful music. Thank you for starting this off so well. I am so sorry I forgot that. Thank you so much to these youth who played so beautifully, who sang so beautifully. What a great way to start this event. Thank you to all of you. I am so sorry I forgot to thank them. He did this about 3 meetings in a row. And on the 3rd meeting, I thought, I'm not going to let this guy get away without saying hi. So I got up from front of the meeting, went back and sat down beside him. I said, hi, my name's Garrett. What's your name? He said, my name's Josue. And we shook hands. I said, where are you from? Caldwell High School. And that's about all I got out of him the rest of the meeting. And again, about 10 minutes before the meeting ended, he got up and left. Now this went on for a few weeks until the other youth also started noticing him, and then they started befriending him. They went up to him and shook their hand and told him, welcome, we're glad that you're here. And we come to find out that this young man came from a single adult, just a mother, it was all that was in the family, brothers that were somewhere in jail. This mother was trying to help his family succeed. She was working full-time, kids at home. Nobody had graduated from high school in his family. So, this young man kept coming, and we engaged him, and he started getting more and more confident in himself. And I'd like to fast forward to the next year. We decided to go to Seattle that year for the National League of Cities Conference, and we invited him to go. He had never been on an airplane. He had never been out of this valley. He told me that he was afraid to go because he did not understand adults. He was afraid of police. He was afraid of the outside world because all he saw was what was on TV. All he knew was what was going on in his family. All he knew was that he was afraid. So we took him there. And these kids that went with him surrounded him. He didn't have a suitcase. He showed up at the airport in November without a coat. We gave him a coat, we welcomed him. And then, of course, we asked them to come to City Council and report, because that's such an important aspect of life. Accountability, return and report, right? That's an important aspect. So these students come and tell. And when he came in that night, he handed me a letter. And the letter was poorly written as far as grammar. The sentences weren't constructed properly, but the message touched me at the very core of my soul. And what this letter said is, Dear Mayor and Council members, thank you for allowing me to go on this trip. What I knew about the world was not good. I was afraid of police. I was afraid, the things I mentioned to you. And he said, you know what I learned at this conference? That people do care. That there are good people in this world. That it does matter who we are and what we do and to get involved. And this young man bore his soul through this letter. And by the time I got done reading it, there wasn't a dry eye in the City Council chambers. Now I'd like to fast forward again to the end of that school year. This is in November. Fast forward to about April. I get a phone call from Josue and he says, Mayor, I'm not going to graduate. I said, oh, yes, you are. I said, you're doing well. He said, no. He said, I'm not doing well in government, and that's a required class. And I said, hey, I know about government. You know, I won't do it for you, but I'll help you. If you will get together with me, I will help you. I will help you understand what you don't understand. And I called his teacher, Mrs. Jackson, the government teacher. I said, this young man is not going to fail. He is going to graduate. Will you help me? And she said, yes. We helped that young man day by day, week by week, and he raised his grade to like a C+. And then about 2 weeks before graduation, he called me and he said, I'm not going to graduate. I said, yes, you are. Why are you not going to graduate? Well, to make a long story short, what it really came down to is he couldn't afford the cap and gown, and he was embarrassed to walk across the stage without a cap and gown. So I said, okay, here's the deal. Here's the deal. You have worked way too hard to get to this point and not accept the congratulations that you deserve by walking across that stage. I said, as my gift to you for all the hard work you've done, I will buy you your cap and gown on one condition: that you work the hardest you can for these next 2 weeks, that you pass your grades, you pass your finals, and that I get to hand you your diploma. That was the happiest hug I've ever had on stage from any student. And the tears ran down this young man's face, and the tears ran down my face as we embraced, and I got to hand him his diploma. Then 6 months later, I hadn't heard from him. He comes in City Hall, proud as can be. He's in one of those tank tops. He's all buffed up. He had joined the Marine Corps. He had just gotten done with boot camp. This young man's life was completely changed by the youth of our city and by the actions of the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council. That's why we do those programs, one life at a time. But that wasn't it. We had to create a plan to deal with crime, with infrastructure, with streets, with roads, with economic development. And so again, we created this plan and we set it into motion. We started working with our legislature because at the time, there was a lot of gang activity in the city of Caldwell. And so what we needed to do was enhance the penalties associated with gang activity. And so we worked with our legislators, one of whom is sitting in the audience, to enhance those penalties. If you chose to make that mistake and chose to do crime, then we needed to enhance those penalties. That is the enforcement side of it. We also created a street crimes task force. We also partnered with Met Task Force and with across this county and with across this valley, and we started working together, which we had never done before. We created a network of law enforcement to deal with the enforcement side. We reached out and created a special assistant U.S. attorney position through the Treasure Valley Partnership and working with the governor and other cities to fund this position, so that again, we even had a different option. Those that deserved it were now going to be prosecuted under federal statutes rather than state and local statutes. And it has made a huge difference. It's still making a difference today. Now that's the enforcement side. That's the side that we hope we don't have to get to. But we also wanted to deal with the prevention side and the intervention side. And that's where all these youth programs came into place. We wanted to bring a YMCA because we did not have some of those activities that these kids deserved. We wrote a youth master plan that addressed so many areas of this community that we needed to improve. Graduation rates, transportation, walkability, parks, recreational opportunities, right? All those things, and then we built our ordinances around these things to make sure that we put our money where our mouth was. And during the budget, after adopting this youth master plan, we started budgeting to make sure that we were budgeting for these activities. The Y was a huge thing to come to our community. Absolutely huge. The day that we opened the Y, there were 400 kids standing around that pool. And it begged the question, where were they the day before? What a glorious moment that was. And they were so anxious to get into that pool, they were waiting for J.R. Simplot to shoot the gun so they could get in. And it was a mass dive by 400 kids once that gun went off. It was awesome. We did that together as a community. As Betsy mentioned, when we did the feasibility study, they told us, you can't do this. You don't have the financial means or the leadership to get this done. And we did it in less than a year. We raised the money. We went through the process of putting together the programming, found a location. The land was donated to us by the Eldridge family, and the YMCA became a part of our community. And what an impact it has had. Then, again, all these other youth programs, through partnership with the YMCA and the school district and the colleges and after-school programs and the Splash program, and all these things together have made a huge difference in the lives of the youth of this community. Transportation. We did some really unique things. We widened a state highway with local dollars. Why would we do that? Because it was an economic development tool that was so important to us when we developed this infrastructure, or this economic development park, the business park out to the east of town. It was awesome. We widened that road, we put in water, we put in sewer, we brought in power, we brought Intermountain gas, we put in all the infrastructure underground so that those businesses truly had a shovel-ready option in the valley. We bought property. We marketed ourselves as a family-friendly community, and it worked. Businesses started coming to Caldwell. But you know, if we hadn't done those other things, if we hadn't lowered the crime rate, if we hadn't done some of those youth programs, if we hadn't taken the opportunity to upgrade our treatment plant and upgrade the sewer system and the collection system, we could not have grown. And the reason I'm bringing all this up is because without that, we wouldn't be sitting here today. If crime was still up, would you be sitting here? I don't think so. Would we have been able to raise the money and do the things we did for this plaza? I don't think so. If crime was still up, would businesses want to come to our industrial park? I don't think so. They didn't before. We had to change the formula. And so every one of these little things we did changed the formula. And Caldwell changed along with it. Along those lines, and I will mention this now, that in 1998, when all this started, our population was about 23,000. Now, according to Compass, in 2021, our population is 63,700. In 1999, our crime index was approximately 14,000 with 23,000 people. Now, our crime index is hovering around the 6,000 mark with 63,000 people. That is an amazing accomplishment. An amazing accomplishment. That shows the commitment of this community, our law enforcement agencies, the partnerships that we were able to create, the programs that we were able to create, the intervention, the prevention, and the enforcement side. And it worked. And Caldwell is now one of the safest cities in the state of Idaho. That is a major accomplishment. So all these things that we worked on for so many years, why? Why did we do that? Because this is our home. This is Caldwell. This is the town that I grew up in and watched Sword in the Stone. It was the place that we wanted to be able to create a place to live, work, and play, and a wonderful place for our families to continue to grow and have that experience. Why do we do that? Because of these youth that you see here today, because they deserve a future that they are proud of, that they are safe in, that they have a place to go to work, that they have a place to live and recreate, and a wonderful downtown like this. They deserve that. So that's why we did what we did through all those many, many years. Indian Creek. Oh my gosh. Was that an amazing project, but one of the most frustrating, mind-boggling, nerve-wracking, sleep-losing, long projects that I've ever been involved in. But this community stuck with it. 7 years. I think somebody in the Bible worked 7 years to get their wife or something like that. Isn't that right? Well, we worked 7 years to get a creek. I don't know if there's an analogy there or not. But it was worth the 7 years is what I was trying to say. It was worth the 7 years. We learned more about PERC and petroleum and phytoremediation. I thought phytoremediation was giving a dog a bowl of water. Had no idea what it was. We week after week, the core area steering committee met week after week, year after year. Then we became engaged with the Army Corps of Engineers. And they had this wonderful idea for a Section 206 grant, and that we would be able to restore downtown with this grant. So we did our part. It's a 65-35 grant. 65 from Section 206, 35% from the city. So we worked with the local businesses, and we bought property, and we started designing, and we started working through this project. And then a hurricane happened and took all the funding from the Section 206 program, and they said, sorry, we cannot fulfill our financial commitment to you. That was a scary moment, because we'd already spent about $2 million buying property, designing, working through it. So again, what did Caldwell do? We rolled up our sleeves. We prayed about it. We thought about it. We fretted about it. But together as a community we came and we rewrote the urban renewal plan to include the Indian Creek project. It took us a year, but we did it. And look at the results. What a glorious centerpiece for downtown. And the reason we wanted to do that, because we knew we needed that beautiful place to kick off and inspire development in downtown. Did it work immediately? No. But it was still one of the pieces that we had to have. So that was a 7-year project that still had so much to do with where we are today. I know it's hot out there, but I wanted to mention these things because it took so much work to get to this part of the State of the City address now that I want to talk about, and that is where we are now and still what is yet to come. So again, if you look around us, Caldwell has changed dramatically. We have a business park known as Sky Ranch that is full of businesses, absolutely full of businesses. And they started coming here after we made these changes to the community. And what we heard from them over and over again is we love Caldwell because it is family oriented. We love the feel here. We like the price of property. We like the fact that water and sewer are right out our front door. We like the fact that the airport's over there and it's easy to get to. We like the fact that you've done all this work for us, but we also love the family feel of this community. And in those meetings that we had with those developers, we really emphasized the Youth Master Plan and all the things that are associated with it and how that has benefited us today. And now as you look around, there are parks, there are open space, there are walking paths, there are businesses all around this community. Again, the business park is full. It is completely full. So now, a new business park has started to the north, known as North Ranch, because they saw what we were able to do on the south side of Highway 2026, and we believe we could repeat it. And I'll give you some announcements here in a few minutes about that. But all these things have led us to the point where we are here today. You've heard that our lives are the sum total of all the events in our lives, right? The good things, the bad things, the hard things, the fun things, the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat, the happy moments, the sad moments. All those things have shaped us into the community that we are today. And so if you take any one of those things out of the equation, what happens, Lily? It's just like a math equation. If you have an equation and you've got all these numbers on the left and you change one of them, what does it do to the right-hand side? It changes what's on the right-hand side, right? Good answer. We've been doing math a lot at home these last couple days. But that's the point, is that even the difficult times, even the sad times, have created who we are. They've helped us be diligent. They've helped us to be dedicated. They've given us tenacity. They've given us the ability to overcome, along with a lot of prayer and a lot of sometimes not knowing where we're going next until the guidance comes. But all those things formed Caldwell, who it is today. You know, there's another, I'm sorry to refer to the Bible a couple times, but there's a scripture that says, if you build your house on sand, when the storms come and the rains come and they beat upon your house, that it will wash away because it was not built upon a good foundation. Then it also says that if you build your house on a rock, that when the storms come and the rains come and the storms beat upon your house, that it will stand. Well, that's what we've done, is we have built Caldwell on a firm foundation, a foundation of hard work, dedication, families. We have built a foundation of honesty and integrity, that we are willing to work for everything that we have in this community, that we are willing to sacrifice for the good of others, that we're willing to put our resources and our talents and our abilities at risk to reach a greater goal for the better good of the community. That's what Caldwell is built on. The youth, right? That's what Caldwell is built on. You said you liked it, right? Right, Giselle? By the way, does anybody know where the Giselle, does that ring a bell to you with any movies? Giselle wouldn't speak to me for about 4 months because I kept calling her princess. Because of the movie Enchanted, right? The princess is, Anyway, that's a little joke between Giselle and I. So Princess, you said you liked Caldwell, right? Because it's built on a foundation. This is you heard the youth speak earlier. That's the foundation that we have built Caldwell on. And so what are the results of that? What are the fruits of those labors? Sky Ranch Business Park, over 1 million square feet of manufacturing and industrial development in that park in just the last few years. 2,000 new jobs have been created in that industrial park. There are 6 new projects under construction now, totaling another 408,000 square feet. Probst Electric just moved into the former Syringa Networks building. 15,000 square feet added and will create about another 130 jobs. They are currently undergoing another addition, adding more square footage to their building. Montana Timber is going to build a 44,000 square foot building to begin construction very soon. They will be adding 15 new jobs. Nemo Arms will be occupying a 265,000 square foot building in Sky Ranch Industrial Park that is under construction as we speak. They will be creating another 237 new jobs, bringing new machinery and equipment, personal property to the area, manufacturing firearms and ammunition right here in Caldwell, Idaho. The Wolf Company, right across the street, will be breaking ground on 2, not 1, but 2 304,000 square foot buildings in North Ranch that will begin construction in October. That's another 608,000 square feet of manufacturing and industrial development. Here's an announcement that we have permission to give. D&B Supply will be breaking ground soon on a flagship store on the corner of Smead and Highway 2026. It will be a brand new 100,000 square foot state-of-the-art retail facility in Sky Ranch, North Sky Ranch. Idaho Central Credit Union is going to build a new branch in North Ranch to begin early next year. And there are numerous other retail and industrial office buildings that will begin construction very, very soon. Along with that, through those partnerships that I mentioned before, and thank you, Julie De Lorenzo, we made an agreement with Idaho Transportation Department to switch properties. As you know, Highway 30, also known as Blaine and Cleveland, was part of the state system, but it ran right through the middle of Caldwell. So all of the entitlement authority was held by the state. Whether it was access or sometimes not having access, and these businesses were trying to develop, plus the fact that it was right in the middle of our town. So it took us a while, but we negotiated an agreement to take over the operation and maintenance of Blaine and Cleveland all the way through town, and we swapped it for the widening of Highway 2026 from Smead to Middleton Road. That's a really cool thing. And if any of you travel Highway 2026, you know how hard it is to drive down that road and dangerous. So not only is it going to be widened to 5 lanes to match the example that we set, right, Julie, by building that first half mile, but there will be signals at KCID and Ward lanes. That will make that transportation system so much more safe. It's awesome that we're able to do that. But again, through partnerships, through trading, through understanding the needs, what was important for our families, but also an economic development piece. It works. It works. Partnerships, partnerships, partnerships. Ain't it great to have football back in Caldwell at the College of Idaho? Yeah, go Yotes! That is a partnership that has brought back football fever. And again, that's no offense to the high schools. Did not mean that at all. But we used to have college football in Caldwell. And then it went away. And now it's back. Because of partnerships. The college reached out to us and wanted to start football again. And we said yes. Because we knew the value, again, to families, to youth that would be coming to the College of Idaho. And now we have this beautiful new facility. And we're going to continue development of that entire event center. So in this upcoming year, you will see a new parking lot built right across the railroad tracks that has 286 stalls and 17 new RV slips, so that we will benefit the entire Caldwell events area. You will see a 10-foot wide walking path down Arthur Street that will connect the College of Idaho to downtown, so that they can come down and enjoy all the glorious activity, the movie theater. You know, if they want to buy their girlfriend a wedding ring, they can do it right over there and then take them to yogurt here at the Good Spoon. And then they can take them to a movie down at the movie. You couldn't do these things a few years ago. And now this walking path is going to connect the college, and it will begin construction very soon. Parks. What an important piece, again, of what families need to prosper. There will be upgrades at the dog park. There will be upgrades to Luby Park, including pickleball. Yay for pickleball. We are building a new swimming pool, which probably should have been done years ago. That pool leaks thousands and thousands of gallons of water every day, to the point where it actually floated the bottom of the pool. Not from, from underneath, if you know what I mean. And this pool just needed to be replaced, and we've put the financing together. And that pool will begin construction later this year, maybe slip into the first part of next spring. But a brand new pool, facility, all the things that go with that, with the shower rooms and the offices that go along with the swimming pool, and a new recreation building will begin construction very soon. Those poor employees literally had to walk through the bathroom to get from one side of the building to the other. It was so outdated. And so that will begin construction very, very soon. Again, a brand new county fair building. Thank you, commissioners, in partnership. Partnerships, 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 right? Commissioners, we're building a brand new county fair building. The Urban Renewal Agency is partnering and helping build the parking lot and putting infrastructure. We will continue to upgrade the event center by building new parking lots at Wolf Field to handle the need. There will be, as I mentioned, a new parking lot on 21st with right across the railroad tracks, and enhancements with walking paths throughout the entire facility. Transportation. We will be upgrading Indiana and Ustick to CHS. That entire area will become another 14 acres of soccer fields. We will upgrade the frontage, and that will take place over the next few months. And again, thank you to the Crookham family for helping us donate that property. On Canyon Hill and about the surrounding areas, we are doing safety projects. There are so many kids that need to walk to Sacagawea School, but they have to go up that hill, and there are not sidewalks on the west side. So they need to get across North Illinois and be able to get up the hill. So we are putting in sidewalks throughout the area down there below Canyon Hill, and putting in a hot crossing. We are doing a safety project on Ohio to help those students funnel over and get down to Sacagawea School. The widening of Ustick will begin construction very soon. You noticed I've said a lot of construction. There are two seasons in Idaho, winter and construction season. And we're going to take advantage of the entire construction season as long as we can. But the widening of Ustick from Lake clear to the interstate, and then over the overpass and clear past the airport. By the way, I'm going to jab Julie just a minute here, because in the plans that ITD had for the widening of the interstate, they had decided to build Ustick as a 2-lane overpass. Julie had nothing to do with that. I'm just razzing her because she was here. But as you know, Ustick is the main corridor from the Snake River all the way to the foothills of Boise. All of us in our fundamental classification maps have Ustick as a 5-lane road, and yet it was designed as a 2-lane overpass. So we shuffled around, rolled up our sleeves, went to work, as Caldwell does, and we are funding the overpass at a 5-lane overpass with walkability to make sure that that corridor is constructed for the future for many, many years to come, and that 2 years from now we don't have to turn around and do it over again. That is the partnership, and that's the vision of this community. We will be constructing roundabouts at Florida and Ustick and Middleton. Those roundabouts are literally lifesavers. We had several really serious accidents at the corner of Indiana and Ustick until the roundabout went in. And since that time, very, very few accidents and 0 serious accidents. They're very, very important. I think Carrie is telling me it's time to shut up. I'm almost done, okay? Downtown. I'm not saying it's the best, but I saved it for last. Maybe I am saying it's the best. It's awesome. We have a downtown that has become the destination point for the valley and the region. With a partnership of so many people in this community, with Destination Caldwell, with the Chamber, with Urban Renewal, with the City of Caldwell, with all of our partners, look around. Ain't this cool? Okay, I'm gonna say that one more time. Ain't this cool? Okay, thank you. Because it is. Do you like my good English there? The ain't was for emphasis. But this is wonderful. This is what we've been working for. All of this is what we've been working for all these years. Caldwell is returning to its place as the treasure of the valley. It is a destination point. It is some place where families come, where children come. They play in the splash pads. You go back 10 years, there was nobody downtown. It was vacant. And I'm so grateful for the wonderful businesses who stuck through these dreams and visions and plans and who are now receiving the benefit of all this hard work. Together, again, we as a community have created something that is spectacular. 30 new businesses have opened downtown since the plaza was open. 1 million lights along the creek. Winter Wonderland hosting 15,000 people. We've started keeping track of the trips across that bridge. Over 400,000 crossings of that bridge right there last year. 400,000 crossings of that bridge. And it really ramps up when the lights are here and the ice skating is going. 45,000 skaters last year, even in COVID. I mean, these are all phenomenal things. My little granddaughter and I were walking through downtown a while back, and we started taking an inventory of license plates. And she's learning about ratios and all those things. Well, that was quite a while ago. But we started looking at license plates. We discovered that a 1-to-1 ratio of 2C and other license plates, whether they were Oregon, Washington, Utah, Ada County, Elmore County, Malheur County, wherever they were from, for every local plate we saw a plate from somewhere else. That is awesome. That's what this is all about. They're coming here to spend their money instead of us going someplace else to spend our money. The money is staying here. The businesses are thriving. I've talked to a couple of friends that have been downtown. They said their business has never been better. That is phenomenal. Thank you to all the partners who made that possible. Right next door, you know that empty dirt piece over there? December 1st, we'll begin construction of the Creekside project, a 4-story, multi-business building that is going to be phenomenal. It'll match the architecture of downtown, bricks and beautiful architecture, but it's going to be restaurants and retail on the bottom floor with offices and some residential on the second floor, and then 2 floors of residential housing. Market rate and above housing, taking advantage of the view of the beautiful creek and everything that's going on. That is an incredible achievement. We also just issued an RFP to Biscuits and Hogs. How's that for a name? A brand new restaurant over there where Bennett Machine Shop was, in that parking lot next door, or empty lot next door. Will be in construction right after the first of the year. A 2-story, 4-business, new building downtown, concentrating on Idaho-grown products. The family that is building that is a Caldwell family, the Godsill family. You'll recognize them from Sunrise Restaurants and other businesses. We just awarded that RFP, and the city attorney and his staff are working through the development agreement. We've also just received a new RFP for this site right across the street, and we are working through the development agreement, and a new building will begin construction there next spring. A new parking lot just across the railroad tracks between 9th and Kimball to provide parking for much needed parking for downtown. That's cool. That's why we're doing these things. So, I know it's hot. I know you need to go. But now, if you'll just bear with me a few more minutes. I cannot tell you what an honor it has been. Oh gosh. what an honor it has been to serve this community for as long as you have allowed me to do it. It has been the most treasured experience of my life, other than my wife and my family. I cannot tell you how much I love the people that I work with, the citizens of this community. Every person who has volunteered their time on a board or a commission or attended a public hearing or a workshop. It has been a privilege to work with each and every one of you. You know, there are so many times I felt so inadequate to deal with the issues facing this great city. But every time this community surrounded itself, or appointed officials came forward, or something happened, and we all pulled together and made it through whatever it was, and gave me the strength to come back to work again the next morning. To look around this community and see what it has become and where it is going, I can't describe the feelings that it wells up inside of me to be able to have been a part of that in some small way. So to all the employees, to all the citizens, to all of our partners, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And so for one last time, I'm going to recite a poem that I have tried to make my mantra as I took office some 24 years ago in the city of Caldwell, and it goes like this. An old man going along highway came at the evening cold and gray to a chasm that was vast and steep with waters rolling cold and deep. The old man crossed in the twilight dim. The sullen stream had no fears for him, but he turned when safe on the other side and built a bridge to span the tide. Good friend, said a fellow pilgrim near, you're wasting your strength with building here. Your journey will end with the ending of day. You never again will pass this way. You've crossed this chasm deep and wide. Why build you this bridge at eventide? The builder lifted his old gray head. You see in the path I have come, he said, there followeth after me today a youth whose feet must pass this way. This chasm that was as naught to me, to that fair-haired youth may a pitfall be. They too must cross in the twilight dim. Good friend, I am building this bridge for him. I hope and pray that everything that we have done has in fact built a better bridge for those that follow after. I hope and pray that our actions over this past 24 years have been actions of honor and integrity. Done everything I can to serve in a capacity that when I leave this office, I can look in the mirror and like the guy looking back at me. I know that not everybody agrees with some of the things we've done. You can't please everybody. But as long as I can please my Heavenly Father and Savior, as long as I can please my wife and she still puts up with me, and my children, as long as I still have the opportunity to help raise my grandchildren, then every bit of it has been worthwhile. So again, may God bless each and every one of you in everything that you do. May you know that this old guy loves you more than you will ever be able to comprehend or understand. It has been a privilege of a lifetime. I am so grateful for it. May God bless you. May God bless the city of Caldwell always. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much. They tell me there's food somewhere. They tell me there's food somewhere. Is there food? Where's the food?